Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Slancha to Sustainability. My name's Erin, the Sustainability Strategist and Advisor with ENSO. We're excited to chat to you today about communication and how it connects to sustainability. So, I'm excited to introduce Donal, our founder, to talk a little bit more about that. So, first things first, what does communication even have to do with sustainability?
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. A lot, actually.
Hmm.
So, really, businesses are working through their sustainability activities. A big word we come across a lot is greenwashing.
Hmm.
So, really, what is greenwashing? The answer we'd give businesses to be really, it's direct. It's lying. It's lying about your activities or misrepresenting your environmental claims. So, really, this can be done inadvertently. It can be done on purpose. Either way, it's not good. So there's no point in a business working through being environmentally friendly, having a great social impact, but then either not communicating it effectively or else misrepresenting what they're doing. It's really all about transparency here. And so what we want to do is help businesses just effectively communicate what they're doing, being clear about it, and just making sure that they're communicating the right thing to the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we want to be communicating transparently, but why? Why should businesses be conscious of communicating in this way and making sure they're avoiding greenwashing?
Yeah, look, great question. And really, it starts off with one, their brand credibility. Who are they as a business? What do their customers think of them? If they misrepresent themselves, if they get caught lying, it can really have detrimental brand effects. So, firstly, you want to be a trusted brand and a trusted business to your customers. If again, if you misrepresent yourself there, it can have dire consequences. Then also, like you're looking at really in terms of a B2B scenario as well, businesses want to work with trusted businesses as part of their supply chain. Again, if you're working with a business, if you misrepresent yourself, they can drop you. They don't want to be associated with you. You can actually tarnish someone else's brand reputation. And businesses work so hard to build this brand trust. A lot of hard work can be undone very quickly. So it's that consumer and brand awareness and brand credibility. And then now and a lot more over the last 6 months, we'd find us speaking with businesses. It's around regulations.
Hmm.
So firstly, you have businesses who need to report on their sustainability. They need to be transparent and they need to be accurate. So they really have to be sure that they're reporting the right things, or else it will have regulatory consequences. So that's for businesses reporting directly. But then you also have businesses who are in that supply chain that need to give these bigger businesses data and information. If they give the wrong data, and if a business gets in trouble for that, all of a sudden this bigger business will be, extremely disappointed and angry, for want of a better word, and it really could have detrimental effects on their supply chain, where they'll actually just replace you as a business or as a supplier. So there's
Yeah.
lots there to actually keep in mind.
Just one question. Are there any regulations or laws relating to consumer facing information? Because I know a lot of consumers are actively looking for more sustainable options and want to
Sure.
feel like they can trust the people they're buying from. So is there anything being done around that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the EU in particular have really taken a stand against greenwashing, and they've released a couple of directives. So you have the Green Claims Directive and then the greenwashing ban. Both of them similar, really, in terms of to standardize communication for consumers to make the right decision. Businesses can't just say that they're carbon neutral without, well, actually, that term's being removed. So they have a number of terms and phrases that they want to remove from the language around sustainability because they can be really vague. They can be related to a certain aspect of production, but actually the whole product could be unsustainable. So the EU has actually gone to great lengths to eradicate greenwashing and to really make businesses prove that they're doing what they say that they're doing. So a lot of positive activity in the EU actually recently on this.
Yeah, great. I feel like we've started this out with a lot of what can happen if you do it poorly, but are there
Yeah,
benefits businesses are seeing when they communicate well?
absolutely, definitely. And it all, from us, it boils down to this brand trust, building them really good either customer or consumer relationships, or else building better B2B relationships. You know, we're in a very turbulent environment now economically. businesses want to be sure that they're working with businesses who aren't going to trip them up or disrupt their own activities. So there's lots of benefits in terms of building your own brand awareness, building brand trust with your customers, and then building B2B relationships. Overall, it really does just build your own resilience as a business, helping you grow and scale. So it's from our point of view, it's paramount. It's really, really necessary for business to have this in place to do it right in order for them to grow and scale.
It really seems like it could be a great competitive advantage through what you're telling us. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so with that in mind, how can businesses better communicate their sustainability activities? We want to do it. How do we get started?
Yeah, look, great question. And I think this is where a lot of businesses, you've got businesses in different areas where maybe some are doing something and they don't want to actually communicate it because they're afraid of actually being called out. They're
Mhm.
afraid of doing it incorrectly. So that's terrible. Like if these businesses are really doing great work, but not actually getting that benefit from it. So we really want to help them talk about it a lot more and shout about it and communicate all the great work. Again, something we didn't actually talk about is when a business does this right, they're actually inspiring other businesses. They're having a ripple effect of positive impact, because they're really showing other businesses what can be done, educating other businesses on this as well. So that's another great benefit. In terms of how to do it, we boil it down, we try to simplify it so we've got three main areas that we want businesses to look at. One is to be really detailed and specific. So previously, when we've worked with businesses, they've had a sustainability page or maybe a little bit on their website, but it's been quite broad and vague. And in the past, I think that has worked and it's alluded that you want to be sustainable. But really now in this current environment and going forward, you need to be a lot more detailed, a lot more specific, and really, trying to have dates and timeframes and tell people exactly what you're doing. So, firstly, be detailed and specific, short and concise. And then, when we're communicating sustainability, we always want to try and add additional detail to really take people on that journey, show how we're doing it. And then the third big point that we pull in is prove it, show supported documentation, have the proof points there. So, when you're communicating, I think it's also important to remember who you're speaking to. So there's going to be different stakeholders who you'll communicate differently. And so let's say directly to consumers, you're not going to maybe go into as much detail, but definitely have the layers there that if someone wants to dig deeper, the information's there, it's not hidden. But you want to be able to talk to them in language that they understand. Then you'll have reporting. If you're reporting to maybe a larger customer that needs really accurate data, you want to include as much information there as possible. So when you're preparing for all of this, like we mentioned in previous episodes, it's about measuring what you're doing, having all of this information to hand, then that you can include that in your communication. So, yeah, really, I think that covers a lot of it. So be detailed and specific, show how you're doing it, and then include proof points and support and documentation.
You used a phrase in there about taking us on the journey with you, and I think that is so key.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask if there's anyone kind of out there right now that we can use as an example that has done a good job taking us on their journey and that's showing their progress, that's showing maybe even some challenges. So who's doing a good job with this communication at the minute?
Yeah, look, I think that's a huge point because a lot of people want to be perfect and want to have all of this in place. And it's actually when you look at people doing it really well, it is about bringing people on the journey. So you look at some of the bigger ones. Recently, we've announced our B Corp certification. When you look at the whole B Corp community, you really see some prime and really top quality examples.
Yeah.
Right up there, you're looking at Ben and Jerry's and Patagonia, where they're to break it down into like really relatable language for their customers, and they break it down into different areas. So what are they doing around their environmental, and again highlighting the challenges and highlighting that journey. But really then I think it's a lot of a true storytelling as well. So when you look at Ben and Jerry's, they involve their suppliers. They go to different farms and different, and to really get to the grassroots of their sourcing and delve deep into their sustainable sourcing. They also delve deep into their community where they're based, and they have a fund to help different charities within their actual locality, which is really really interesting. And I definitely advise anyone looking to look at sustainability communication. Look at Ben and Jerry's. Patagonia always to reference a lot, and
Yeah.
they just do it so well, and they
Yeah.
really bring their product to life through sustainability. So it's again around telling that story. And also, like in Ireland, and we're working with some really inspiring businesses ourselves. We work with O'Brien Fine Foods, who are really taking a lead, like looking at, they've got B Corp to look at science-based targets. They're really taking a lead within their sector. And like I said earlier, just setting an example for other businesses within that whole sector. And they're pulling
Absolutely.
a lot of their suppliers with them. Um, and then also we're looking at Bean and Goose, amazing chocolate
Oh.
producers. They're,
Hmm.
yeah, amazing products. And again, they're really building their product and brand around sustainability. So yeah, look, I think not just to put everyone under the same label, but if you do look at B Corps in general, I think a lot of them are doing a really good job.
I was gonna say, Ben and Jerry's is one of my personal favorite Instagram follows, but I liked that you kind of went through. We have these people that are these huge companies that have a lot of resources to put into this,
Yeah,
and then we've got some leaders right here in Ireland as well, that obviously are great businesses doing good business, but might not have the resources of a Patagonia, but are still leading the way in their storytelling and their
yeah,
transparency and the way they are building the sustainability narrative.
yeah,
So, what I took away from that is basically no matter what stage you're at in your sustainability journey or your business journey, you can do this well. There are ways to do it at different scales and what works in a way that works for you and your
yeah.
consumers and whoever you're talking to.
Yeah, and that is exactly it. It is different scales. And, we work with a lot of SMEs who just simply don't have the resources. But actually, when they do the right things right, it all comes together really well. You mentioned Instagram and social media. You can easily tell that story and build that into your communications. So, yeah, definitely for us, boils down to having those basic, measuring and tracking and, having your basic, how you collate all this information, have that in place, and then you can build that into your storytelling and into your branding.
Yeah, absolutely. A good story with some cold hard facts to back it up.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah,
Yep.
that's it. It's that simple. And then scale it as you scale your business.
Yeah, amazing. So let's say I'm a business, I want to get started right now. What are your top tips for getting started with communicating sustainability?
Yeah. So the big message and the big blocker we always come across is people want to have everything done perfectly and have it all done now. They're afraid of what people might think of them if they're not already having a huge social impact or already, net zero. And the big message is it doesn't all have to be done right now. The first thing what we do with businesses is do that sustainability audit. Where are you right now? And what's the roadmap? So it's important to show that you've done your sustainability audit of your business. You know the areas that your business is having an impact, both positive and negative, and then bring people on that journey. So don't wait until everything's done. Look at it now. Say, look, this is what we're doing X, Y, and Z right, and this is what we're doing right now. And then say, yeah, we do want to maybe be net zero. This is going to take us 3 or 5 years, and this is how we're going to get there. People, consumers, will love hearing this story. Other businesses, everyone's facing the same challenges. So I think that's one of the big ones. Just start now, and start bringing people on that journey. Another one, definitely, I think probably in every episode we're going to boil down to like measuring and tracking, and it really does. And these are simple
Hmm.
things that businesses can start doing right now. And so it's just start measuring and tracking. And once you have that, as you said, hard data, then you can start communicating it. And look, a
Absolutely.
big positive message is just be proud of what you've already done. Be proud of your achievements. You set up a business. You're getting products out there. You're getting great services out there. You're helping other businesses. Sustainability is a part of that, and be proud of your achievements within your business. And you're doing so much work. And I think a big word we always come across as well is overwhelm, and it's really important not to get overwhelmed by this and to try and simplify it down that you actually are doing a lot already. Start documenting it, start communicating it, and see the benefits of it, and you will see the benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. What is it? It's a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one single step, right? So
Absolutely.
just get it started. Speaking of journeys, I love the journey we took throughout this podcast. I think we started with a little bit of the what's greenwashing, don't do it. Here are all the negatives that could come from it, and we came on this really nice journey where we talked about the positives of doing it and then got down into all right, we want those positives. We want the competitive advantage. We want to communicate with our consumers in a positive way, and then into how we could do it. So That was our journey on this podcast, and I hope you learned something about communication. Communication is a topic that will continue to come up for us, whether it's through reporting, through social media, through face to face conversations, through industry events, wherever it might be. Communication will forever be a part of sustainability. So, Donald, thank you so much for all that great information. And
Yeah.
thank you to all of you for joining us for another episode of Sláinte to Sustainability.